Shut up and sit down.
Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Sorry, the phone zooms in a bit when it starts recording, so I thought my things were in the right place, but clearly not. So today we have a reading that I have titled Wait a Minute. And this is about checking in with yourself. Just taking a moment to check in with yourself. You know, sometimes life can get so chaotic and rushed that you forget to just check in with yourself. The most basic thing in human nature, just asking yourself, hey, are you okay? You know, like if you would call a friend or something just to hear how it's going, that's basically the kind of vibe I wanted this to have. So the cards are about to call you and ask, you okay? So we're gonna get some message cards. The message cards I think will reflect a bit about self-love and such. That's how I intended them when I, shuffled. And then we have some extra cards here that'll just give me some extra messages. And then we're just going to do some tarot. We're going to do a 3-card spread for today. I just wanted to do a simple, short message. This was actually a reading I wanted to do before the last reading I did, but it just didn't feel right at that time. And today just felt like the day, like sometimes it just feels right. And I guess that's the magic of it all. In any case, okay, so if you're ready to decide, this is group 1, this is group 2, and this is group 3. As usual, you will notice that the timestamps are in the description below. So if you've chosen the group that you feel most resonant with, maybe by color, maybe by just feeling, maybe by what first draw your attention, you can find the timestamp in the description below, and we will see what Spirit, put out to highlight for your current life, and for you to just take a moment to notice, a moment to notice this in your own life. So yeah, I'll see you at your group. Thank you very much. So if you chose group 1, this is going to be a reading. Sorry, my nails don't look very good. I didn't, do them today or anything. This was a bit of a spontaneous reading. I mean, I've had the idea for a while, but yeah, in any case. Okay, so this is an oracle and message card. Well, it's not an oracle card, but it's an extra message card and written message card. So we're going to look at those last, but first we're going to draw 3 tarot cards here to look at your current energy and maybe a message that Spirit just wants you to stop and listen to, So we're going to ask Spirit to give us 3 cards for the current energy of our group 1. Current energy of our group 1, please, Spirit. Current energy of our group 1. What? Is something turned face up? No. Spirit, can you give us an idea of... Okay. Okay, and then we're going to need 2 more cards, Spirit. Sorry, if the camera's shaking, my mic wire always gets like... I don't know where to put it, man. I don't know where to put it. Maybe I'll figure out a better setup one day. But for now, it's going to have to work. Okay. In any case, okay, so we're getting distracted here. We're looking for 2 more cards for group 1. Okay. You gotta... I'm going to take the Lovers and that card, but these 2 just kind of plopped out. But then you have the Lovers and you have the Hanged Man. Beautiful. But you have the Hanged Man in reverse. Okay. So you have the 10 of Wands, the Lovers, and the Hanged Man in reverse. So if we're looking at this, speaking of your current energy, I'm definitely feeling like there's some progress to be made in your life, and you're definitely like putting pedal to the metal at the moment. Maybe you're in a bit too much of a work type of energy, and the Lovers also indicates to me that there's some kind of a decision. So I'm not saying particularly this is a career related thing. This is just the first thing that popped into my head, but this could also be hard work on relationships. Maybe because the Lovers are present, this could be that you're working really hard on a relationship, trying to make a relationship work. But the Hanged Man in reverse really tells me that with you trying to make this thing work, you're working so hard. Look how hard this man is working on his own, just carrying all those wands on his own. With the Lovers here, I feel like the message that the Hanged Man is trying to bring in between these 2 is that you have the ability to ask for help. Sometimes we like to bulldoze through everything on our own because it makes us feel like we can do everything on our own in the sense of worth, but it doesn't make you less worthy if you ask for help, especially if it's like a goal or something, at the end of the day, if you're setting out to achieve a goal, how many helping hands go through achieving a goal, and is it really shameful to have asked for help and not achieved it man alone? It's I feel like the basic message here for you is that you don't have to do everything alone, and you do have people around you that can help you. You can just reach out, but you're maybe stuck in this perspective of wanting to do everything on your own. And I also have a sense of overwork here. Maybe you're spending too much time on something and not enough time on self-care, which is, I ask for a little bit of a, self-love element to this reading. So maybe this is indicating to you that you're not spending enough time on your self-care, and because you're trying to do everything on your own, and a good compromise for this would be asking for help and, having more free time, because, a lot of hands make light work. I don't know if people use that idiom in different countries, but we always say it, a lot of hands make light work. So at the end of the day, it's about achieving the goal, and you'll often find that sometimes we're frightened to ask people for help because we don't want to seem weak, but people like to be involved, like if you can see someone doesn't want to be involved, it's a different story, but overall people like to be involved, and people like to help. People like to say they were involved in something, like to say they've helped with something. So I definitely feel there's no shame in asking for help, even if it's not just like even if it's not that you're struggling, even if it's just that you would like it if someone else joined you in this project or goal or whatever, because this is really indicating to me that, especially with the Hangman and the Ten of Wands here, the sense of isolation, not isolation per se, but what do you call it, solitude, with these two cards, and then the Lovers coming together. It's almost like a perspective shift you need to go through to see that you don't have to do it on your own. And that's not to say you're struggling, maybe you aren't struggling, but more so with the wait a minute theme of this, I feel like you don't have a lot of time for yourself, and this is because your workload is so big or your goal is so big. And it's okay to have big goals. It's absolutely brilliant to have big goals, because our dreams are only as big as we dream them, but you have to take care of yourself to achieve those goals, and taking care of yourself partly can also mean that you ask for help and you ask for input and assistance. And you'll often find, with the Hanged Man here in reverse, you'll often find that someone might give you a perspective for your goal that you never would have thought of, and it's brilliant. And if you hadn't asked them for help, they wouldn't have had the subject matter to objectively give you that, advice, or even just a comment might sometimes drop an anvil of an idea on your head, and it might make everything easier. But you won't know unless you ask for help, or unless you just ask someone, hey, do you want to, go do this with me? I don't really want to go alone. And they might have a completely different perspective, and it might actually be very enlightening and might change the entire trajectory of your plan to something more, maybe something easier, or less bumpy road towards your goal, simply because you had the perspective of another, But you have to remember, you're one person, okay, and you're one perspective. So some people's perspectives developed at different rates, right? And their life experience also influences these perspectives. So at the end of the day, all that culminated life experience and different perspectives from different scenarios will bring about a completely different view of exactly the same scenario, and that might be very helpful for you. That's kind of what I'm getting here. Yeah, that's just, I think that is very clear. I feel it feels very clear, and I don't feel like there's anything else I need to say about that. So let's go ahead and look at your card first. You got the Plumber. So with the Plumber, I'm feeling that, it's got a 6 of diamonds here. I'm definitely feeling with the Plumber that I'm getting the word clog. So maybe you're thinking of the throat chakra. It's almost like what we've been discussing. I feel like there's a clog in your throat chakra, if I can say it like that. It's almost like you're too afraid to ask for help, or you don't know how to ask for help, But that's what I'm getting from the Plumber. It's like you're okay, let's take the Plumber as a scenario as an example. Like, say you're fixing a sink and you have the knowledge of plumbing and such, but there's just something you can't really, figure out why this isn't working out, or why you can't get this clog out, and someone just comes to you and they have no idea what's going on, and they just see things differently because they're from such a different perspective. I feel like that's more an example they wanted me to give about the scenario. Like, no matter how much you know about something, you'll often find if someone comes in with less knowledge than you, they see it in a completely different way because they don't overcomplicate it with the knowledge that they've attained because they haven't attained the knowledge. For example, a plumber. So if you're going into a project with plumbing, for example, and have been a plumber for 20 years, you are going to see all the different parts and pieces and elements and outcomes and possibilities, but the person coming towards you is just going to ask, maybe if you like, put a stick up there, the clock will, and it might not be the best suggestion or the best example right now, but sometimes a simple solution is better than the complicated solution. But if you have a lot of knowledge, often you'll find that you don't have the ability to think of the simple solution because you're too invested in the goal, the subject matter, whatever it is that you've attained to push yourself towards this goal. So often knowledge is power, but often too much knowledge does cloud us from seeing a simpler, outcome for certain scenarios. Okay, I'm gonna put your little plumber here. He looks very happy to be a plumber, man. Okay, then we have your message. So this was supposed to be a self-love message, but whatever comes through, it says, perhaps the problem is not the intensity of your love, but the quality of the people you are loving. This really resonates to me in terms of the fact that what you'll get out of the scenario that you're currently in is not the intensity with which you're approaching it. It's the quality. Because at the end of the day, if you're approaching a goal and you're burnt out every day because you want it so badly and you want to work so hard on it, it's a beautiful energy to work hard. But if you're burnt out, the same type of love isn't going to go into it the next day. This is really telling you that the quality of your work will improve if you give yourself more time to heal, more time to, to have that self-care. That's really what I'm getting here for you. This is a simple message of self-care. And this is a simple message of camaraderie, It's about letting go of control, It's not easy, don't get me wrong. Like, letting go of control is very difficult because people have a tendency to feel like if they're in control of a scenario, it'll go the way they want. And quite frankly, that often isn't the case. If you're forcing something into a certain direction, even if it's working, if you force too hard, it's just going to leave you burned out, So yeah, that's the message I got for you. I hope it resonated, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for joining me here, Group 1, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, Group 2s, and welcome to your reading. So, we have a message card and a picture card here that we'll look at last, but first we're going to pull 3 tarot cards to get a basic idea of your energy and what you should be focusing on right now. The theme of this reading is wait a minute, which is basically just telling you to take a moment, just a moment, to look at yourself, to look at your current energy and see where you are, because if we're always racing, often we'll find that we don't take a minute to look, and when we look back, we're like, holy crap, how did all this happen? And it's because you didn't take a minute to just analyze your scenario. And this is not to say every moment you should, worry about what's happening. This is to say that now and then it's good to check in with yourself, to see if you're still okay, because a lot of times we're under the illusion that we're okay and we're actually working too hard, or we are putting too much time into something that's not giving something back, for example. But if we didn't take the moment to recognize that, how could we possibly have known, So that's basically what the theme is coming down to. So, first we're going to get 3 cards for your current energy. So, Spirit, can you please give me 3 cards for the current energy or messages, guidance for Group 2. Guidance for Group 2, please, Spirit. I'm sorry if you guys can see my camera shaking. It's just the setup is still a work in progress. Can I say it like that? Okay. Spirit, can we get 3 cards for Group? Ooh, that's too many. Was that 3? That was exactly 3, and they were right. They all flipped over. Okay, these are definitely your cards. I have a feeling they're your cards. Not going to use the bottom deck energy today. Okay. So, you've got the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. You've got the Emperor in reverse. And you've got the 3 of Cups in reverse. Just so you know, I did shuffle this deck completely before I started the reading and after the Group 1, so the reversals are no coincidence. Okay. I'm seeing just a lot of confusion, man. I'm seeing someone who isn't settled in their life right now. I'm seeing someone who doesn't know where to grab and where to let go. I'm seeing someone who is scattered, and with something like that, it kind of makes me feel like I want to hold this crystal just to, have the feeling of something in my hand so I can feel I'm still alive. It's like you're floating, man. It's like you're stuck in your head. It's like they're showing me someone standing in an empty room. That's what they're showing me. But if it's like they don't know what's going to happen when they open the door or go out into the world, and standing in the empty room is better than, facing the potential chaos of the outside world. But the truth of the matter is, firstly, the outside world isn't always chaotic. And secondly, seems like a lonely life, man. Okay, so let's get into this, man. The Queen of Pentacles in reverse really tells me that there is something you need to let go of in terms of some kind of expectation of I want to say abundance, but it's not abundance. It's like physical. It's like a property, physical. Why are my words gone? Items, belongings, physical possessions. That's the word, possessions. There's some kind of. I feel they're telling me I don't have enough. I'm afraid I won't have enough. So there's some doubt about not having enough, not making ends meet. And the Emperor tells me that whatever you've been doing has not been something that you would choose for yourself. You've been going about things in a method that is someone else's method, and it's not really working for you. But for some reason, this is the way you keep going about it. So I'm also feeling with the Emperor in reverse that they're maybe a bit ungrounded. And you feel like you feel like this is the like overall energy I got from it is like a loss of control. You feel like you're not in control of your own life, and everything's happening around you is kind of what I'm feeling from this energy. And with the Three of Cups, it's definitely telling me there's some social aspect or some celebratory aspect of your life that's missing right now, because it's very probable that the reason for that is your scattered mindset and confusion. Because when we feel scattered and when we feel confused, there are two directions in which humans usually go. Either they go out and do completely ridiculous stuff that doesn't resonate with them at all for some kind of desperate hope to feel better, which generally doesn't turn out well, or they go in the other direction and they isolate completely because they've lost a little bit of hope in the fact that things will get better. Those are the two extremes, of course. But you're definitely more the type that will go into themselves and not talk to people and like, okay, well, I'm just gonna wait it out. But at the end of the day, you have the ability to change things in your own life, and you have the ability to make a difference in your current circumstances. And it may be not to the extent, oh, there's a little spider, okay, cool. Maybe brought some good luck for you, shall we say. Okay, in any case, so where are you, little dude? I don't want to hurt you. Okay, so at the end of the day, this is definitely telling me you are extremely unbalanced in aspects of your life, including your social life and your sense of safety in your possessions, a sense of fear around finances is what I'm getting. And also that you're kind of dancing to someone else's drum. And this is something that Spirit isn't really fond of, To a certain extent, we need to dance to people's drum in this world because there is some kind of hierarchy created, and to some extent we have to abide to that. But this is really giving me the idea that I feel like because it is that you're dancing to someone else's drum, these two things are imbalanced. I feel like the Emperor kind of made all these things unbalanced when you started following someone else's, whims, shall I say. So this is really telling you to listen to, this is what I'm getting, okay? I'm getting, listen to your heart, because I'm kind of feeling a little bit, I wouldn't say weepy, but it's like, I'm feeling a sense of frustration, I'm feeling a sense of being boxed in and stuck. And what they're telling me is that you need to look at the way you're doing things, because at the end of the day, I'm seeing a crossroads, and one is your method and one is their method, but their method isn't meant for you. Your method and your authentic life and your choices are meant for you. So if you're going to keep going to someone else's choices for someone, if you're going to keep going in the direction someone else wants you to go, Spirit's going to keep directing you back to your own path, okay? Because you're not meant to go by other people's whims, you know, as a lifestyle. Sure, sometimes you need to do that, but as a lifestyle, you know, in grand decisions of your life, asking advice is one thing, but going by someone else's, you know, whims, wants, and needs is a completely different thing. And this is really telling me you need to start dancing to the beat of your own drum. You need to listen to your heart and see what makes you comfortable and uncomfortable, what makes you sad, what makes you happy. This is almost like some sort of self-exploratory message. It's almost telling you, what do you really want? This is the question. Wait a minute. Ask yourself, what do you really want? You know, that's what they're telling me. And it's like, you know, when people do that mic drop thing, that's what they showed me after I asked you that. So it's like, wait a minute, what do you want? Mic drop. So that's the question. You have a very, luckily for you, it was very clear that you have this question, and the only way that you're going to get the most out of this answer is by answering truthfully, obviously. If you're going to be lying to yourself, there's going to be no reason to ask the question in the first place. So they're really asking you to be truthful to yourself, even if it may be embarrassing to admit that you didn't go by your own path because you were too scared, or maybe because you felt that someone would be disappointed. Every human experiences these things. But there's real need for you to follow your heart here. That's really what I'm getting. So let's look at your vocation card first. It says librarian. So the librarian is definitely making me think of someone, you know, reading, going deep into something and forgetting the world. So this is really again telling me that you need to look deep into yourself and forget about everything around you. Don't worry about everything around you. Go into silence. And, you know, like libraries are generally quite silent. Even after all these years, people kind of respect that, which is strange. Anyway, probably because no one really goes to the library anymore, which is sad. Well, I guess that's just my country. In any case, point being, you have to go into silence and you have to ask yourself this question and answer honestly. That message couldn't be any clearer with this, okay? The guy's even wearing glasses. He's like, you see? You know, that's what I'm getting. You see? Okay, so let's put your library in here. And then we're going to get your message. It says, you just have to keep breaking your heart until it opens. So it's not easy, man. It's not easy going against the grain. And this is telling me that there's maybe a scenario in your life where not following someone's instructions or going in the direction where they want you to go, maybe going against the grain. You know, like in the stereotypical jokes and stuff people always make about Asian parents being angry if their children aren't doctors or dentists or whatever the case may be. It's just a stereotypical joke people make, but it's kind of giving me the same vibe as that. It's like there's something expected of you, and it's not the type of thing that you really want for your own life. And with this, it's really going to tell you, yes, it may hurt to tell someone, listen, I don't want to do this. You know, I don't want to be a doctor. I want to be a painter, you know, for example. And it hurts to tell people that because you want them to be proud of you. You want them to be happy. But your happiness is your happiness. And if you're going to give that away to please someone else, I promise you, only pain can result. Because you're going to always feel unfulfilled in your heart space. And that's not something someone else can give you. You know? So, this message is also talking to me about, it's almost like, I'm getting this idea, this is maybe the frustration I felt before. I'm getting this idea that you don't know what you want to do, but you know you don't want to be doing what you're doing. And that's already a start, okay? Because that opens the door for you to explore other options. And Spirit doesn't want you to feel like because you don't know what you want to do, you should keep doing what makes you miserable. That's not what they're saying. They're saying this is giving you the opportunity to explore other options. But don't remain in a place that makes you unhappy. That's basically what this message is saying. don't sit in a place that's making you feel unsocial, unproductive, and, you know, unwhole, really. I mean, the only way we can really be the whole version of ourselves is by doing what our heart and our gut tells us to do, because that's what that comes from intuition, that comes from our inner knowing. And if you're going to go against that and do what a human wants you to do because you love them, it's not going to have the same kind of fulfilling effect, you know. So that's really what Spirit wants to tell you. Spirit wants you to ask yourself, what do I really want? And Spirit's telling you, even if you don't know what you want, ask yourself the question. You may be surprised by the answer. You may be surprised by what comes up, you know. Look at your interests. Look at things that make you truly happy. Everyone has things that make them truly happy. And that's something that you're going to need to explore to find your answer. So, yeah, that's all I have for you guys. I'm very grateful for you joining me. Thank you very much for sharing this time with me, and I hope something resonated with you. If not, that's okay too, you know. There are other readers online, there are other messages, but if this did resonate with you, please know that I'm with you, and I am really thinking about you, and I kind of want to cry, dude, because I hate it when people are stuck and they're trying so hard, because it's a difficult feeling to be stuck. It really is. It can go so deep and so far so quickly, but please keep in mind, there's always someone to support you. Sorry, I was interrupted for a moment in my emotional state, which is kind of amusing, because it's just like, it's almost like I feel like maybe you don't even have the chance to cry on your own, you know. Maybe people are just all up in your grill all the time asking you to do things and always being with you, so you don't even have an opportunity to think, but this is really asking you. Honestly, this is the first thing that came to mind, but even if you're sitting on the damn toilet and you have a moment for yourself, is that's the only moment you have for yourself. Use that moment to ask a question. I mean, we're all humans, we do human things every day, if that's the only quiet moment you have, they're really trying to highlight to me that you must have some quiet moment to ask yourself this question. Like, that went weird very fast, but you get what I'm saying, okay? So, thank you very much for joining me. I hope this helped, and I hope I see you again. Thank you so much. Bye. Hello, group 3, and welcome to your reading. If you chose this purple card, this is going to be your reading, and we're going to look at this vocation card and this message card last. But first, we're going to get 3 tarot cards for your current energy, and we're going to see what Spirit has to say, you know, what messages they have. I kind of left this reading open for any guidance that might want to come through, and we're going to see what they have to tell you that you currently need to know right now. So, Spirit, can we get 3 cards for group 3, please? Can we get 3 cards for group 3, please? Someone stuck them out. 3 cards for group 3, please. We need 2 more cards for group 3, please. 2 more cards for group 3. That doesn't feel right. So, 2 more cards for... Ooh, that's too many. My hands feel a bit dumb right now. Are you guys tired or something? 2 more cards for group 3. 2 more cards for group 3, please, Spirit. For the current energy. Okay. Right. Oh, okay. There we go. Beautiful. So, first we've got for you the 10 of Pentacles, the Chariot, and the Knight of Cups. This is quite lovely, actually. So, I feel like you're quickly moving into a place where you're going to be... What's the word? It's not... it's not comfortable. Content, okay? It's contentment. I feel like you're moving into a place where you're going to be quite content. And there's definitely something telling me that your career trajectory is going in a it's moving more speedily than your social trajectory. So I feel like you may be satisfied with where you are financially. Of course, Most humans like to think they're never satisfied financially, but at the end of the day, this raises the question, how much do we really need? You know, how much do you really need? The chariot is definitely speaking to me of movement, and it's definitely speaking to me of a sense of purpose. I'm getting a sense of purpose here, and maybe now that you are in a comfortable place financially, it's almost like I'm getting this journey of social, and maybe even, no, this is definitely, I'm getting a self-love fulfillment, a journey of self-love. I'm definitely not getting some kind of romantic vibe, but I'm definitely feeling like you've reached a place now where you're comfortable in the 3D. Like, you can pay your bills, you can buy your meals, you can care for your pets, whatever it is that you need to do, and now you're searching for more. This is the journey that I'm seeing. You're searching for more, and the questions are rapidly approaching you. Questions about life, questions about romance, questions about relationships, questions about the future. I feel like there are a lot of questions coming in very fast and furious, and there's some kind of excitement to answer them. And there's this, because this Knight of Cups is not in a position where the horse is kind of racing or something, it's kind of just like trotting along. I feel like they're telling you, whoa, like, you know, people always tell horses, whoa. Anyway, I feel like they're telling you, whoa, don't think of all these things at the same time. Focus on one thing at once. This guy's carrying one cup. He doesn't have a bunch of cups strapped to the horse and to himself and stuff. He's carrying one cup. They're telling you one thing at a time, okay? One thing at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself with all these ideas and questions and stuff. Questions will never disappear, and the answers for those questions will never disappear. You know, questions about life, your social life, romance, those questions will always be able to be answered, because Spirit will always answer them for you. But they're telling you, you need to ask one question at a time and receive one answer at a time, because that's the only way that you'll be able to process it in a manner that will be truly resonant. I'm trying to think of an example. I'm trying to get an example here. Okay, let me tell you this. Okay, let's not talk about art preferences and stuff, but for example, you have two canvases. You have a canvas where someone applies paint in layers and creates a picture, and you have one canvas where someone just took the whole palette and just smashed it onto the easel. Which one tells more of a story? The one that was, there was time taken to place the layers, to understand the colors, to understand how they work with each other. And that's kind of what Spirit is telling me. They're telling me that you need time to paint this picture for yourself. And trying to get all the answers at once will just result in basically a big old mess, But if you take time to really cultivate the questions, the answers, and have them work with each other in that way, you will have chance to, this is what's really important, you have a chance to absorb the answers. Because if you're asking all the questions at the same time, searching for all the answers at the same time, you're going to be overwhelmed. You need to ask a question, and you need to really absorb the answer when it gets to you, because at the end of the day, if you don't really absorb the answer, what's the point in asking the question in the first place? That's kind of what they're saying. They're trying to tell me, even if you do it faster and you do everything at the same time, you're just still wasting all that time, because you're not really taking the time to value the questions being asked, answered, and absorbed. So that's what they're really telling me with this. Okay, so that was quite a simple message here. I don't get anything else for you. I feel like this is definitely just something balance is coming out to me with the sphinxes. It's almost like you're on a journey to balance your abundance and your quest for, I'm getting more of an emotional thing here. You know what? This is what I'm feeling. I'm feeling that there may be some doubt. Okay, I get the message now. This is a much deeper message than I initially anticipated. This is about asking the right questions because you need the right answers. And that is not to say that these are the answers that you want. These are the answers that are true. So maybe with this 10 of Pentacles, you are doing very well, and there's some doubt as to whether people are with you for your abundance or for you. And that's why I think the Knight of Cups here is really indicating this, because the Cups are a suit of emotions, and that indicates to me that it is a matter of, asking the right questions and realizing who is good for you, isn't good for you, and if people are really with you for their best benefit and or for yours. Whew, sorry guys, I was interrupted once again. I'm apologize for that. So with the Knight of Cups, as I said, it's really telling me, firstly, take it slowly, and secondly, I'm just hearing you'll find the answers that you seek. You'll find the answers that you seek. So maybe there is it is a matter here of asking the right questions. You might want to know that you are valued more to people than just what you can give them, and that is something that I think a lot of wealthy people, good-looking people, struggle with in those two aspects specifically, because it's about really finding out whether people like you for you, or whether people like you for what you can give them. So I think there are two things here to consider. Firstly, they're definitely telling you that you need to take time to absorb the answers that you get. If you get an answer, don't just like, oh, okay, cool, that's what it is. True understanding comes from not ruminating on something particularly, but truly grasping it. Like, I can try to explain this crystal to you and how the energy of this crystal works, but at the end of the day, if you have no interest in understanding that, you won't understand it. So they're also asking you to cultivate an interest in understanding the questions you ask and the answers that you receive. Okay, so I'm gonna look at your vocation card quickly and see what we get. You got the plumber. That's interesting. Okay, so we got the plumber in pile 1 as well, but it was a different suit. So yeah. Okay, so the plumber here is, I'm just thinking of water now, and it's telling me dive deep. So I think water was the real element behind this message. 6 may be a number that's lucky for you as well. 7, 10. So what the plumber is really telling me is, you know what they're showing me? They're showing me someone trying to fix a faucet with the same broken tap and expecting the faucet to work. This is something that is telling me that you need to realize what works in your life and what doesn't, and this is definitely a social feeling. Because you're asking these questions as to who suits your life and who doesn't, and who's serving you and who isn't, it's definitely a matter of, it's almost like, every pot has its lid, but it's, the message I'm really getting from this card is every pot has its lid, and even though it has nothing to do with this vocation, that's kind of the journey it took me on with the whole tap story. So they're telling me through this that you are going to find people who are going to appreciate you totally for who you are, not for what you have or what you can give. But you're going to need to be able to recognize this. And to be able to recognize this, you're going to have to ask the right questions. I'm thinking of iRobot, where he says, where the hologram of the doctor says, I have limited answers, you have to ask the right questions. So this is highlighting to me that you know the questions that you should ask. And sometimes when readers say what questions you have to ask, and I'm like, what? I have no idea. What? That either means that you aren't resonating with this message, or it means that you haven't actually even considered the possibility of asking these questions. You kind of just wanted to, push through it and hope it. I think that's what the plumber is about. It's showing me someone trying to force something out of a pipe by sheer force, and it's just not budging. And this comes again to me, they're showing me now water flowing through a pipe and easily dislodging the item that was stuck, that couldn't be removed by force. So this again is relating to me about your message of taking it slowly with asking the questions, because one has to realize, if you are on this journey of asking questions socially and such, and you do happen to find an answer that you don't like, it's going to be much easier to deal with that answer you don't like and moving forward with your next question or your next pursuit of knowledge than it is to receive all the bad things and all the good things at once and trying to make sense of them. So yeah, that's what I'm feeling here. So your main messages here are definitely to take it slow. Don't try to force all this new knowledge or these questions and answers and stuff into your brain at once. Ask whether the people in your life are serving you. Ask whether the people in your life are good for you or whether they're there for the right reasons. And it hurts to cut people off, man. It really does. But sometimes you need to. Because if someone's just for you for what you can offer them, then they don't deserve to be in your life. And that is a fact of the matter. Okay. So we're going to look at your message card. It says, you don't know this new me. I put back my pieces differently. This is telling me that you need to create some boundaries. You need to create boundaries because of the fact that you may have people that constantly come into your life and are looking for what you can give. So this is really telling me that you need to create boundaries, and even if people have been in your life for years and you have this realization, oh wow, I always have to pay for everything when we go out, and this person never wants to go out with me to the places I want to go out with, but if they want to go somewhere, all those questions, the rabbit hole that you go down. This is telling me that people may not be able to understand your boundaries at first because you may have created this expectation that you're always, the friend with the open wallet who's always people pleasing and stuff. And don't get me wrong, people pleasing may seem like a harsh word, but it's usually people who people please aren't frightened of other people. They just want to make people happy to such an extent that they start hitting themselves. And this isn't particularly to say that you have a people-pleasing energy, but this is definitely telling me there's an expectation that's been created, and some people are taking advantage of it, or maybe taking advantage of it, and this is what you're going to be realizing, and it's your job to set boundaries so people don't do that to you again, so people don't take advantage of you in the future, okay? So, yeah, that's what I'm getting for you guys, and I hope that you have a pleasant evening, afternoon, morning, whatever time it is where you live, and I'm glad that you joined me here. Thank you very much for sharing your time with me, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.